John, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you, Mike?
I'm not doing too bad, actually, after working a night shift last night. So
Oh,
everyone's
that's
gonna
got to
have
be
to,
rough. I've
yeah,
done
well,
nights.
everyone's got to forgive me because I'm still waking up a little bit, but I think I'm doing all right. So anything new and exciting with the goats or just
No, the goats are just getting bigger.
nice?
They're at basically 2 weeks now.
Yeah, yeah, good,
So
good
they're
deal.
growing, they're jumping around now, full of energy.
Nice. Well, we're waiting for that video for you. You should put one up for
Yep,
so that
yep.
everyone can see what the goat progress looks like. So
It's true. I posted that first photo to Instagram, and then I've taken a few. I haven't posted in the whole 2 weeks.
yeah, yeah. Well, hey, put a video up. I'm sure the audience probably would love seeing some baby goats. So yeah, let's do it. So what's the movie, Dom?
So today, it should be no surprise.
Yeah,
Uh, Today, we're doing the 2014 animated film, The Lego Movie.
right,
And I knew I was going to choose this at some point. I didn't know when, but I can remember when I first saw this movie, I did not expect anything.
right,
So a little side story. I do art, I paint, and instead of listening to music, my standard thing is I watch videos. And I found that I got to be fairly targeted about the videos I watch. They can't be too good. Like they can't pull my attention away from the art. They've got to be on the background. They
okay,
can't be horrible.
yeah,
They have to like engage me just a little, but they
yeah,
can't be great. And so when I found the Lego movie
right,
online, I was like, oh, this is going to be this kid's cartoon and it'll probably be fun, but I'll be able to get some painting done.
yeah.
And boy, was I wrong. Like, this movie just sucked me in, and I was so impressed by it. It certainly is directed towards a younger age group.
Yeah,
And truth be told, it's like what a 90-minute long commercial for
right,
Lego.
right. Yeah,
But that being said, I feel like there's a really good story. The animation is top notch, and the writing is just whip smart and quick.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I actually this was the first time seeing the movie for me, and I'm pretty picky about animation. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think I've gone over some of my criteria with you before, and for me, the writing is uppermost for importance. If the writing if it isn't witty, I mean, I came from the days of the Warner Brothers cartoons with bugs and all the crazy you know Foghorn Leghorn and all those crazy animated characters that were really funny, very witty, oftentimes doing like whatever was going on in politics or whether it was going on in just in the world. They would in movies a lot of times they would make references to actors and things like that, so it was funny, and because of the wit and the writing, I put that as a big standard for my animation. So this did have a really, I wouldn't say it was, I wouldn't give it a 10, but I would probably give it a 9 for witty
Yeah,
dialogue.
I mean that's the thing. It's clearly a kids' movie,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the writing is smart enough that it does not utterly alienate adults.
yeah, and it can really, I think it can highly entertain adults. So anybody that hasn't seen this movie, which I was one of them, anyone that hasn't seen it, I would say you'll be entertained. If you've got a sense of humor, you're going to enjoy it. And some of my favorite stuff um, was the Batman stuff.
Oh my God!
Was
So did you recognize the voice? Do you know who that is?
right now I can't think of who it is, but
That's Will Arnett.
okay, yeah,
You'll
uh,
probably know him from Arrested Development.
yeah, and yes, absolutely, and I did like there were different voices, of course. certain voices you just absolutely knew. But yeah, Batman's voice was familiar, but I was trying to place it the whole
He
time with the
he stole the show.
yeah. Oh,
In my
absolutely.
opinion. He's the
Yeah.
one, like, I walked away from the movie when I first saw it and I'm like, oh my God, Batman.
Oh yeah. No, believe me, like I said, some of the stuff with him, that was the stuff that really made me laugh and anytime I saw him in one of the scenes, I'd be just cracking up laughing. But no, he would just pop in different scenes, and especially when the two main characters there were doing their flirting, all of a sudden he'd pop in and he'd be like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Oh my God. His timing, the voice he used, Batman.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was hilarious. And it earned him a spin-off movie. There's at least one
Really.
Batman Lego movie out there.
Yeah. 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 No, I like I said, like this is actually the one that I was looking for because they were at they were in the middle of talking, and all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, hey guys, what's up?" But yeah, like I said, I definitely found him to be probably the him and well, I think probably for me too, I wasn't as caught up on some of the Star Wars stuff because there definitely was Star Wars references too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I highly enjoyed this. I thought it was, and I always loved Will Ferrell too. So he was in the movie
Morgan
too. So
Freeman,
oh my
who,
God, Morgan Freeman would crack me up. And it took me a while to realize when he was holding that staff, that was a lollipop. It
yep.
was, so, like I said, there were some really funny things, and it was highly entertaining. The entire time I was watching, I was enjoying it. So yes, uh,
So the guy behind you,
yeah,
that's Spaceman Benny.
okay. And I had no reference with him at all. I did not know who he was.
So he was voiced by Charlie Day
Oh
from
yeah,
It's
and
Always
which
Sunny in Philadelphia.
I love Charlie Day. He's great, and I love Always Sunny too. So yeah.
But he is based on an actual Lego character that was discontinued during the 80s.
Well, yeah, somehow it seemed familiar, but so it was a real discontinued because it looked familiar, but
And they tried to make it as realistic as possible in that the paint on the front's a little faded,
yeah,
the figure is a little scuffed up. And what very few people know, unless you've owned that figure,
yeah,
is
yeah.
the helmet always cracks.
Oh, in the front.
Right here, if you've ever owned the figure, that was a story that was told that the
Wow,
helmet always cracks right in the front.
wow, yeah. Well, that figure actually seems very familiar to me, and like I don't remember whether it was one of my nieces and nephews that had it, but it just seemed very familiar to me. So I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's from that, or maybe it just was some generic thing that made the figure very familiar. But I had no reference for it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know who this is. So, but Morgan Freeman really cracked me up in this. I have to say. So that was
The whole thing was amazing. Like, and again, I just get so impressed with the cast. So we've already talked about Charlie Day, Morgan Freeman, Will Arnett, Chris Pratt
yep,
as
yep,
main character, Elizabeth Banks
yes, yep.
as what was her name? Wild Style.
Yes, what wild. I
Are you
love
a
that.
DJ?
That was another funny joke that was going about how she had all these different names that she had been trying to find her little space there, and she kept changing her name. So yeah, that was in itself was really funny.
You
But
had
no, a
Nick
great
Offerman.
story. What's that?
You had Nick Offerman as Metalbeard,
Okay, all right, yeah,
the
that was one that
Pirates.
I didn't realize that at all. But yeah, that's
Liam
no,
Neeson.
who?
Liam Neeson
Oh yeah, yes, yeah, yes,
as
Liam
good
Neeson.
cop, bad cop.
Yeah, that part was really funny too. I love how they erased his good face so he could only be a bad cop. So yeah, and then when the end, when he finally puts his good face back on with a marker, that in itself was hilarious. But one thing that I actually wish they had done a little bit more with, I loved how the whole thing, because you had hints of the whole thing while you're watching the movie. But one thing I wish they had done a little bit a better job on maybe was I wish the thing with the real with the whole when you finally get the reveal that this is
That was amazing.
yeah,
By the way, if you're watching, that's the only spoiler, which
yes,
it's kind of a big one,
yeah,
is
it is a
when
big one. I
it
hesitate,
switches from animation to live action.
yeah, I hesitate, but at the same time, that we're announcing some of these we're announcing ahead of time. So like this one was announced last week at the end. If you guys were watching, uh,
Oh yeah,
but
it's funny. Like I mean, we call ourselves spoiler alert. It's
yes,
right there.
right,
We say there's going to be spoilers. We announce the film before we talk about
yeah.
on the video. I still feel guilty.
I know. Me too. Because well, part of it is if you really are somebody that's a big movie fan, nobody likes to spoil a movie for somebody. But at the same time, our channel is about talking about the movies, so that's what we do. And so
And
anyone,
I gotta say, that big reveal, the switch from animation to live action,
yeah,
that really was the punch. When I first saw this movie and did not expect that at all, this
no,
was the
no,
thing that just turned it around for me. I'm
oh
like,
yeah, 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 because everything starts to really make sense. The kid had invented the entire plot of what was going on in this world,
mm-hmm.
and this was and that's what made it so sweet and charming, and at the same time a little bit sad because Will Farrell plays the father and also the villain. He's set up as the little villain
And when
character.
he realizes that,
Yeah, that's a real yeah, that's a real turning point for him. He realizes that wow, I've taken these things that I'm enjoying, and my kid is not enjoying them in the least. And there's no sharing, there's no joy here. And when he finally realizes that, then that's when all of a sudden he changes his attitude, which is a sweet thing that happens because suddenly the father and son actually have a relationship. So over the Legos. And there are people. The sad part about it is there are people that do that with. Yeah, I actually I didn't get any live action stills, so I'm glad you did. But yeah, that's a sweet moment in the movie. So anyone that watching, it's got some good morality. It's a fun storyline too. And even
so
when you yeah,
so actually, we're going on about we haven't said anything about the storyline whatsoever.
yes,
So
yeah,
let me just punch in a short synopsis. In the movie, the guy behind Mike is the main character, Emmett, and
yeah,
he's this happy-go-lucky everyman.
yeah,
Loves going to work. Loves getting coffee in the morning.
yeah,
And then he finds this special thing, the piece of resistance in the
yes,
movie.
yes,
And
yes,
now
which
that
they
he
actually called it, which was hysterical to me. But yes,
and now that it's literally stuck to him, like
yeah,
it's literally glued to him. Now
yeah,
he is thrust in the middle of this like resistance group
right,
that is formed to combat the evil Lord Business that is
and
freezing everything with the Kragle.
yeah, and that is hysterical too because there was a scene where I saw that when they were talking about it, I realized that the tube actually had the word crazy, but it was blurred out. But you realize that's crazy. And when you actually find out what the father is doing with the Legos, how he's creating these static scenes and he's gluing them so that everything is not going to be moved. Yeah, there it is, the crazy glue. But but yeah, when you realize like what the whole thing is, that makes not only a whole lot of sense, but it also becomes hysterical. And every time I would see something that was that was a like a real world item
Mhm.
that was mixed in, that in itself was hysterical. So yeah,
And
there's
that's the thing. It's the overall storyline. It's not overly, complex or deep, but they
right.
involve so much between the switchover of the Lego world and what was really going on in that kid's life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's the story, it's not like it's anything. I wouldn't say it's an innovative, like brand new story. It's There's been other ones that were told similarly. Even there was I When I first started watching, I was thinking, okay, well, this actually reminds me a little bit of course, that came later, but what's the new Ryan Reynolds one, or
Oh,
new
Free Guy.
yes, yeah, Free Guy. And so I thought, but then I thought to myself, well, Free Guy was made later, later, so it's not like they were copying from that. If
So
anything,
this movie in 2014 made a number of firsts.
right?
It was the first theatrical appearance of Wonder Woman.
Oh wow, okay,
Granted, a Lego Wonder Woman, but
yes.
she had never, her character had never been on the big screen.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay,
It
yeah,
was the first theatrical appearance
wow.
where Superman and Batman appeared together on the big screen.
Oh wow, yeah, okay, yeah,
So
and
way
yeah,
before Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice, but in the Schneiderverse.
yeah, yeah. Well, there were, and that's another thing. I love how in certain scenes there were some really funny lines out of the superheroes, because it was amazing when they did that one scene where all of this everybody's of course has been captured by they're all put into these little cages where they can't move, but they're just being used by the bad guy, and Batman finds himself right next to Green Lantern, and he's like, oh no, you. So that in itself was hysterical.
Which, by the
And
way, Green
what's that?
Lantern, Jonah Hill.
Oh, okay. Oh, I knew the voice. I couldn't place it, and I never bothered to check. But yeah, and then another thing that I found hysterical was how who was the pirate guy? What was
Metalbeard.
yes, okay, that's Metalbeard. And when when things are really going wrong, and then he's like, "I'm out of here," and he just like takes off, and everybody's like just ditching, including all the superheroes. But yeah, like I said, there were so many hysterical lines and so many funny, and the superheroes definitely added to the story. So yeah,
Do you
quite good.
remember Metalbeard's Five Laws of the Sea?
I remember hearing them. I couldn't
Okay,
place them, or yeah.
so it's very important. Five
Yeah.
Laws of the Sea. Never place your rear end near a pirate's face.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Never
good.
release a kraken.
Yep, yep. Which
Never put ye hand in a clam's mouth.
that's good advice, actually.
Always abandon a lost cause. And never wear a dress on Tuesday.
So
Five Laws of the Sea.
yeah, well, I could see how those laws could keep you out of trouble. But no, yeah, like I said, I thought his character was extremely funny. Yeah, and they just did a terrific job with this. It's there's not too much I can say other than I was pleasantly surprised, because I have a pretty high standard for animation, and when I see ones that are that are not well done, when I see ones that are you know it's just like, why they make this? It's not funny. It's not witty. It's not
Yeah,
entertaining.
I gotta tell you, I watch a lot of animation, and I'll be the first to say, animation nowadays, there is some really great stuff out there.
Yeah,
But there's a lot of crap.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the problem. Like I said, I think I tend to like stay away unless somebody says, "Oh, this was really, really well done," and then all of a sudden, I find myself really surprised and and entertained by it. But man, I have this aversion to the ones that are just like they're going through the motions. They're showing you terrific animation, but I want to see something that actually makes me crack up laughing and go, oh, oh my God, this is great.
So another aside, it's not totally unrelated to the Lego movie because among the people that are credited with writing the script are the
Right.
Hagman brothers.
Okay.
The Hagman brothers are nifty to me because they're hometown people. They were
Oh,
raised in
really?
Lake Oswego, Oregon,
Okay. Wow.
which is
Okay.
not too far from us. They went to Portland State University. They worked for Dark Horse Entertainment. I don't know if you know
Oh, yeah.
Dark Horse
Yeah,
Comics.
I know Dark Horse. Yeah. That's great.
One of their other works on Netflix right now is Star Trek Prodigy.
Okay.
It's an animated series. It's got 2 seasons out right now. Much like the Lego movie, definitely aimed at a lower age group than us, but still a great story. Really
No.
good animation,
No.
great story. And for me, it's the added thing of Star Trek. Like if you know Star Trek, it's got some really nifty Easter eggs in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that I was hoping for. The version that I saw of the Lego movie, I wish they had done something like some funny blooper reels at the
They
end. Because
do.
do they really?
So, so again, this is an animated film.
Yeah.
There are no such thing as bloopers. These
Uh,
things are
Yeah.
meticulously planned out.
Oh no. Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
the movie did release a blooper reel
Right.
that
See,
must have been purposefully made.
oh yeah. Well, that's what I like about animation blooper reels is
Mhm.
because naturally there's no real bloopers in an animation one. However, when they come up with clever stuff for a blooper reel, I'm all over it. It's like this is great. This is highly entertaining. So yeah,
But yeah,
I had
so
no
so I
idea though.
found I tracked it down
Okay.
and I will link to it in our comments.
Oh, great, great, because I'd like to see it myself.
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know who doesn't like blooper reels anyway at the end of a movie. You love seeing the inside stuff on the set. And so yeah. Yeah, that was hysterical. And just the Batman face and everything. His
he
I
he he was
he
by far the
made
best character.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just every between everything he said and did, even when he took off and he abandoned everybody, and then it's like, oh my God, he actually left his girl and everything, but then he comes then he comes back and big time. So, but yeah, like I said, I love the character. Batman made it for me. So of
Um,
everybody that was in it.
Morgan Freeman, and I should also point out Morgan Freeman was in the Batman Begins trilogy
Yeah.
with
Okay.
Christian Bale.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Morgan Freeman has said publicly that this version of Batman in the Lego movie is his favorite version of all time.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think of Morgan Freeman as one of these actors who has done so many really sweet, beautiful, dignified
Mhm.
roles, and his voice is such a. I mean, to hear his voice in narration, there's something warm and it's like a hug when Morgan Freeman's talking in film, and and then a lot of his roles have been more like a dignified type role. He was hysterical in this, and he's good in comedy. When he does comedy, he actually like because you're used to seeing this more, you know,
Very
dignified persona.
serious, very
Yeah, yeah,
staid person.
and when he cuts loose with comedy, and he is funny in this, it really works. So absolutely, like I said, I rated this very high, and I'm picky. I'm really picky about animation. I've said that
Yeah,
several times.
I love animation. When I bring an animated film to this channel
Yeah,
for us to talk about,
right.
it's going to be good.
Well,
I'm
I
not going to bring any
to tell you,
second-rate stuff here.
yeah, to tell you the truth, when you suggested it, I do have to say, I was a little bit, because I was thinking to myself, well, I hope there's enough here, because I mean, hey, even at my age now, if I'm sitting down, there's a pile of Legos, I'll mess around with them and start building stuff. I enjoy stuff like that, but hey, I like toys. I mean, I'm a big kid at heart. But as far as the movie, I thought, I don't know how much can you really do with a Lego movie. But have to say they did it right. Have you seen Legos too, the second one? Because
I have. Do not watch it.
oh, really? Okay,
It's
that's
absolutely horrible.
yeah,
It's so disappointing.
yeah. See, I was kind of worried about that too, because that's often the case when they make sequels, and whether it's animation or whatever.
Yeah, I
You
thought the sequel was horrible. I still haven't seen the Lego Batman movie, which I fully intend to.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, because Batman was great in this, so that would be actually really sad if the Batman character one was not good, because he
Right.
made this one.
So now we're both raving about the Lego movie.
Yep.
It made several top 10 lists. Several critics have put it on one of the top 10 movies of 2014.
Huh.
Actress Tilda Swinton named it her favorite film of
Wow.
2014,
Wow.
which,
Wow.
again, surprising, but not everyone loved this movie.
Hmm. Who didn't love it or like it even?
US Senator Ron Johnson.
Really? Really?
I'm going to read you from the Wikipedia page because I found this hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
US Senator Ron Johnson criticized the film's anti corporate message, saying that it taught children that, quote, government is good and business is bad, citing the villain's name of Lord Business. Quote unquote, that's done for a reason, Johnson told WISPolitics.com. They're starting that propaganda and it's insidious.
Well, first of all, I have to say, I mean, if you really ask me to talk about, I think government's bad. So is so is so is business, and in many ways, business drives government. So if you really want to talk about it, a lot of times businesses, they're behind the scenes. So I have to completely disagree with him. Uh, they're both bad, and the all the
Several people have attributed a communist theme message to this movie.
see, I think they're reading way too much. Because listen, I'm actually pretty sensitive to what I consider, like, if someone's driving something in a certain political way. I'm
Mhm.
actually very sensitive to that, and I'll pick up on it, and I'll think to myself, this is, come on, do you really need to throw this into an animation thing? I did not feel that. And so if if there's little if there's little things in it, none of them bothered me. And again, like I said, I'm somebody that will pick up on it, and it will turn me off if I find that somebody's trying to drive an agenda one way or the other. And so I did not see that. I'm that kind of like makes me think you're looking too hard, because there's times where, hey, it's there. I did not feel it in this one, but that's just me.
Okay, now we have to talk about the elephant in the room or the elephant
Okay.
in the movie.
Okay.
E- Everything is awesome.
Oh, the song. Oh my God. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this.
That song is highly acclaimed
Yeah.
by a number of people. It is absolutely vilified by parents that have had to listen to it over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. that is that one problem that parents face. And hey, I don't have any kids myself, but I've had plenty of nieces and nephews, and I know how animation or just kids videos or something that's geared more towards kids, when they get onto something, that a movie or cartoon, whatever, that they love, they are going to play it over and over and over again, and they don't
Do-
tire of it, and we
Oh,
do.
and that's got a catchy hook. I mean, like, it's still
Yeah.
in my head a little.
Oh yeah. Well, it wasn't in my head until you brought it up again. And it's gonna be, I gotta work tonight, Dom. I'll be up all night, and that
Well,
song's gonna.
everything's cool when you're part of a team.
I should sing that over the radio at
Oh
work,
my
and
God, you should play it over the intercom.
seriously, seriously, I think everyone would get a kick out of it. I probably
I think
should tonight.
everyone needs to be cheered up at work.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is completely off the subject in some ways, but I had to work at Christmas, one Christmas, and there were two other guys with me that really, really fun guys that I will joke around with. And I used to work with both these guys, both have left. But we're in the middle of working Christmas Day, and a snowstorm comes, and it's a
Mm.
big one. And of course, one of the things that happens with where I work, we should contract it out, but they rely on us to do snow removal. So the guys are riding around. I'm in the scale house just taking care of the main front gate, but they are riding around in pickup trucks with plows on them, moving snow and it's Christmas. And I started playing certain Christmas songs over the radio for a joke, because I was thinking to myself, wow, what a sucky way for us to be spending Christmas. And one of the guys was furious that he kept hearing the Christmas song. And so the other guy, Adam, he ended up calling me up, and he goes, "You probably should stop doing that. He's really angry." And I was like, "Wow." So I did stop, but yeah, I think it was the Marshmallow World that I was playing for the Dean Martin song. It's a Marshmallow World.
I absolutely do not know that song, and I think
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for that.
Well, you should you should listen to it for once in your life. It's but it's yeah, it's one of those kind of songs that if you're not having a good day, you don't want to hear that. But but
So,
yeah,
so
like I said, I thought it was humorous, but
speaking of everything is awesome, do you know who created that? Who wrote that? Who
no,
wrote the
no,
music?
no.
Mark Mothersbaugh.
Okay, don't know.
Yeah, well, you might be more familiar with one of his outfits. He is the founder of Devo.
Oh, okay. All right.
He
Wow.
wrote the entire score to that movie.
Wow. Okay. Well, like I said, the song actually, I found the song humorous because I could actually really relate on you if you were listening to that song, you would be like, oh my God, not again. I do not want to hear that. So
Right, and the song perfectly encapsulates the lead character's world at the
right.
beginning. You know,
Yeah.
if all these stories are a hero's journey,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta get fixated where that person is at the beginning.
Oh yeah. Well, like, in different movies, like Free Guy would be an example in this one. And what's the Jim Carrey one, where he's believe me, my brain's not fully woken up. The Jim Carrey one where he's living it's actually the Truman Show,
Ah,
um, where he's got this life where everything is pretty much the same. Also, yeah, I love the Will Farrell bad guy character with his crazy glue. But yeah, so he's walking around, and he's got this like idyllic world that actually doesn't even exist, and he's stuck in it. So it's probably like our simulation, if we're if you go along with the lines that we're probably living in a simulation. Well,
so man, so many movies have capitalized on that on that thought. I don't even want to
Yeah,
call it a theory, on that concept. We're
yeah,
talking about the Lego movie and the Truman Show, but like the Matrix, the Adjustment Bureau,
oh yeah,
um uh oh, what's the one with Leo DiCaprio and the dream stuff, Inception.
oh yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, actually, I mean, it's an entertaining concept, and
Yeah.
then of course it's been really uh expanded upon with the whole, I mean, everything from just the idea that uh you know I don't know, they're saying what there's like a I mean, I've heard scientists and theorists say, well, there's like a 98% chance we're living in a simulation. And it's like, well, if I am, I want a better simulation. My simulation could be better. It's
But I mean that's the thing. I mean, I think everyone in
Yeah,
any walk of life has like encountered some ludicrousness of reality and thought, this can't be real.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Believe me, like I said, I've had my moments. And then what's the thing about how you I can't think of the term for it, but it's when you look at, like, say, like something like um the Berenstein Bears and
Ah,
Berenstain Bears, and
the Mandela effect,
yeah,
the
the Mandela
Mandela
effect.
effect.
Yeah, and you there are things I've looked at some of them. Some of them I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. That one I don't really remember that way, but there's other things when you look at it and you think, wow, I do not remember that being, the way supposedly it is. And so the idea that, like, there's been some changes in the in the matrix, so that and then we look at it and, like, hey, that like, I have a completely different memory of that one. When I was younger, that advertising didn't look that way. So like I said, there's some things that I actually really could go with that, but other things I'm like, nah, not so much. But yeah, it's an
Now
interesting theory.
with that, like my memory is so bad, I never expect to remember things correctly.
Well, well, that's actually a nice way to look. That's a nice way to look at it, actually. But no, like I said, every once in a while I'll see one of the Mandela ones, and I'm like, there's something to this. But I could go along with the idea we're living in a simulation. I could also go along with the idea that it's a whole lot of hooey. So who knows?
I
But
could go along with any of these hypotheses. I want
yeah,
someone to show me some evidence.
yeah, yeah.
I can remember, we're getting way off the subject, but I can remember talking to someone that said they saw a paper published that offered concrete evidence of the multiverse, of multi
Oh,
dimensions,
yeah, yeah,
and they couldn't remember it. And I've been looking for it. I have yet to find it. But if anyone out there knows of what I'm talking about,
yeah.
I want to see a scientific article that claims to offer evidence of the multiverse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, believe me, I think a lot of people would, but yeah, I mean, I can fully get into the idea that there could definitely be. Uh, I mean, but then again, we're just going about our lives, so.
Mhm, mhm. So I was talking about Mark Mothersbaugh. I'm sure I'm going to butcher a ton of names because do you remember when they were in the Wild West Lego Village?
Okay, yes, yes, I do. Yep.
Uh, Mark's Mothersbaugh actually tracked down Alessandro Alessandroni,
Okay.
who was the person that did the whistling in Enrico Morricone's soundtracks.
Oh, oh, wow, wow.
So the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Yes, yeah.
things like that. This guy found him to do the whistling for the Lego
Wow,
Wild West
wow.
Village.
Well, that's amazing right there, because I'm a huge fan of the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, I'm a huge fan of all of them.
Oh, right.
No,
Yeah. Like a
yeah,
lot of the so called spaghetti Western
yeah, and Enrico
genre.
Morricone, definitely. being one of the but yeah,
Masters.
oh yeah, all those it's funny because I remember when I those first started coming out, and I grew up with a real American style of Western. And so when I first started seeing those, they did feel, I could tell they were made in elsewhere, uh, as a Mainer would say, from away. but and because of that, I think I was a little put off, but they quickly won me over. As soon as I started watching them, I was like, these are cool movies with great characters, great bad guys, and great, like, whether they're anti-heroes or heroes. The Clint Eastwood character was definitely a fantastic character to watch on screen. So I love them all.
Oh
And
yeah. I mean, who cares if they were filmed in Europe? It's a great
yeah,
story.
well,
It's got the feel of a Western.
I think probably I remember seeing some of the weapons used, like some of the rifles. They had a lot of them had, which I later learned that there were a lot of ones that were, but they had like brass, like breeches on the guns and things like that. And it's like, that's not a Winchester, but which, hey, that we imported Italian weapons and we had all kinds of different weapons in this country that were from other places. So, including back in the old West. So, like I said, the more you learn, the more you can get with it. But no, who does care? Because if something's made well, and they
Right.
really did a good job. Plus, some of the trivia, we're getting off of the subject with this a little bit, but some of the trivia with some of those, we've got to do one of them, whether it's the good, the bad, and the ugly, or one of them. But
No, I keep going back and forth because that's going to be an important pick.
yeah, yes. Well, and for that matter, I keep hesitating, even on showing, even on show or talking about a Western, because I want the right one if I pick a Western. I want
Exactly.
I've kind of gone back and forth about things like the Wild Bunch, and which is one of my favorites. Any Clint Eastwood one from back in the day, and including American ones or more American oriented ones like Two Mules for Sister Sarah. That's a great movie. Have you seen it? Is that me?
Oh, again, this is my memory again.
Yeah,
What westerns have I seen?
yeah. Well, I may have to pick that one for one of my Western picks then, because if you haven't seen it or you're not sure you've seen it, I got to make you watch Two Mules for Sister Sarah. So,
We could
um,
always do Bone Tomahawk.
yeah. Oh my God, I love Bone Tomahawk. Yeah, that's a great one. Brutal, a
Brutal.
brutal Western.
It,
But
it,
again,
it's it's this great western, and then the end is like, oh my god.
yeah, yeah. Um, and like I said, uh, we we've been kind of announcing ones, which I don't think we need to stick with that format, because I think it's sometimes good to
Yeah,
just
we'll change it up.
be spontaneous. But I actually do know my pick for my next one, which will be next week. And I might as well.
Let's wrap the Lego movie up, because
All right,
we digressed to a point where I think we've said what we need to say about the Lego movie.
right,
I give it an unequivocal 2 thumbs up.
yeah, yeah, and
Um,
I will perfectly agree. I was highly entertained. So
Incredibly impressed. And again, I went in not expecting a lot, and I walked out like, wow.
yeah. Well, I think I was probably expecting less. Because again, I thought Lego movie, maybe it's going to be okay. It's probably going to be not as funny as I would hope. But it made me laugh. It made me laugh out loud. So I would say,
There you have it, people.
yeah. So anyone that hasn't seen it, I would say definitely check it out. I don't know, if you don't like animation as much, then maybe it's not one you have to see, but if it's if you're at all amused by animation and enjoy seeing it, it's good animation, really well done. Oh yeah, that's a great. And there's Will Farrell with this static world of he's super gluing all the pieces together
He's
so that
trying to
they,
create a perfect world.
yeah, yep. And there is no perfect one. but but anyway, not on this lifetime, but yes,
O-
like I said, it's a lot of fun. So so
Okay,
anyone
so
that hasn't seen it, see it.
putting that to bed,
Yeah.
Mike,
Um,
let us have it.
yeah. So you know, you were saying that a lot of my movies were dark, and so I was going with a comedy, but then again, because I do tend to pick a little on the dark side, my next one is a movie with Robert De Niro and Jerry Lewis.
Oh,
It's
okay.
King of Comedy,
Yep.
and it's a comedy, but it's quite a dark comedy. So, and
It,
Sandra
it, it,
Bernhard is in it also. So,
it is a
um,
comedy. It is really hard to put in the comedy category, but even I can't deny it's a
yeah,
comedy.
yeah, and there are some very humorous moments. So that is my pick uh, for my next one for next week. And so anyone that's still watching, if you want to check it out now, then you won't have to worry about the spoiler alert aspect because we will be diving deep into what the movie's about and what made us laugh and what made us cringe and
What
whatever.
made us
So
be scarred psychologically?
exactly, because it's actually there's a lot about the entertainment business with that. So, but that's I found both amusing and also there's little insights that you see with when you're watching that and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, that's kind of like the whole phony world of what entertainment can be. So, but yeah, so that's my pick, and hopefully it
Oh,
doesn't scar
awesome.
you, Dom.
I've
So
seen it too many times.
yeah, so you are throwing links up with this, right? You're definitely
Oh,
with
yeah.
the Lego movie.
Yep.
So good.
Yep.
Um,
So I'm going to throw up the blooper reel. And, this movie inspired a lot of other people to do Lego based animation.
wow, yeah.
And one of the things I found that I loved, and I'm definitely going to include the link. Do you know the show Peacemaker
I know it. I don't.
with
I don't think
John
I've never
Cena?
seen it. Never seen it.
They've got this dance number
Okay.
at the very start, and it's hilarious seeing someone like John Cena and all the other cast members who really are not dancers
Right.
do this dance number, and someone put it into Lego animation.
Oh, really? Wow. Wow. Yeah. No, I haven't seen it. I'll have to check out. Yeah, do a link to that if you've got
Oh,
a.
I will. I've got it. It's going up.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. So yeah. Any bits of trivia on this one, or have you exhausted
I
all
I
the?
I think we gave like all
Yeah.
the trivia that well actually there's tons, but we gave the most interesting trivia.
Yeah. 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 Again, I loved all the superhero characters in this. I think I think they just did a fantastic job. So thank you for bringing that to us
My
because
pleasure.
I don't know, I might have gotten around to seeing this, but it probably wouldn't have been high on my list otherwise. So thank you
Oh,
for
I never would have purposefully sought it out. It was just a random find, and I'm very glad it happened.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because quite witty, quite entertaining. So it's sad that the sequel couldn't have been up to this one, but yeah. No, I thank you again. Like I said, and actually talking about the pièce de résistance, this is actually one of the shots behind me that you can actually see it on his back, the red box on his back, just as
Yep.
one little bit of trivia for the movie. But yeah, I think we have wrapped it up. Hopefully, people are still with us, still watching, and if you are, please leave a like and subscribe, and join us again next week, and join us, every week. So hopefully, but
Every week
please,
we got more movies to talk about.
oh yeah, there we'll always be bringing you more movies, the good and the bad and the ugly. So, but Dom, I enjoyed this one, and like I said, I will see you again next week for the King of Comedy.
Oh
So,
yeah, fun as
yep,
always. Definitely can't wait for next week.
yep, same here. All right, Dom, take care, buddy. See you next week.
You too, man.